A lot of stupid shit in my day.
Guys, we're talking about stupid shit
The
we
worst
bought.
purchases we've ever.
Thought of this idea because actually
I know you're dying to get a story out.
I totally am. No, like on my YouTube feed, some random video popped up on my YouTube feed and it had a lot of views and it said like the worst money I've ever spent or something. I was like, oh, that might be a fun topic to do with Andrew. So it got me to thinking about some of the coins and things that I've purchased over the years. And I just wanted to talk about, I guess, like the worst things that I have bought. And when I'm thinking off the top of my head, it's actually it's more recent, if anything. And I think what it is, and it's not entirely my fault. It kind of is my fault, but not entirely. Essentially, a lot of the collectible coins that I buy that you've seen, I'll sell them in my Discord server pre-sale, because number one, people can get a discount on this stuff. Like I showed you, like those Death Star coins that I did, like people got 25-30% off of the retail price, but it limits my risk. I'm not gonna like say, oh, you know what, that's a really cool coin, but I gotta shell out all this money for it and hope that it does well. Let me buy 5 of those and see what happens. So for me to pre-sell things, the people that are interested, here's your chance to buy it. You know, some of the people, they'll buy it. They'll pay me up front. When the item comes, I ship it out. Other people, either they don't have the money or they're going to wait until I actually have the product like on the auction, or they're hoping that I'll have it. I haven't been doing that as much because the market, I've noticed, as spot continues to go up and remain strong for gold. I saw silver's at like 31 now at the time of the recording of this video. People are getting a little bit more, I would say, cautious and a little bit more, cheap isn't the word, but they're scaling back on those collectible pieces. They're looking for more of like the generic
increase in like wholesale price. So
that's happened too. So wholesale price has gone up.
It really marked them up.
Yeah, wholesale price goes up.
What, if spot goes up $5, if they go up 30?
It happens. Yeah. So so what happens for me is, okay, well now wholesale price has gone up, so I can only offer it to a certain point, because what happens is then retailers, you want to be under the retailers,
right,
but you have to be above wholesale.
Sure.
And so I'm working in those margins. And so recently I've purchased some items that I thought were cool and unique, because that's the other thing, like doing auctions every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. You want to have like cool things to show people, right? So if this thing was like pure silver, let's fix the sign, right? And I was like, oh guys, look at this, 10-ounce coin from Niue, and it's really cool, and it opens up. People are like, oh, that's so freaking cool, like, right? And then they'll start bidding on it and everything. So recently I've had some really cool things. It was like a 1-ounce coin. It's a coin, but it was like this, it's like a flat, like almost like a foil, like a saw,
right,
like you could hear that like whoop, 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 whoop sound. So it's like 1 ounce, like tile. It was a demonic samurai. It's black and white, and you know that famous painting, The Great Wave? In Japanese, it's just like the big tidal wave. If you saw it, you would recognize it. Anyway, is
this your dumbest purchase?
It's one of them. It's one of them. And so I'm sorry it's taking a long time, but there's a point to this.
I go with this story.
But so this coin, like, it cost me $100. And so
1 ounce of silver?
1 ounce of silver, $100, comes in a big plaque, comes in a big freaking box.
Right away, one of the dumbest purchases.
Well, listen, I had a couple people buy it on pre-sale because it's a cool piece. It looks like a tattoo. It looks like, and on the reverse side, it looks like a demon, and it's cool, but it's like saying that, like taking this, and then on the back we have the stamp of the the seal of the country.
I make that mistake all the time with the website. You just buy something, like pay a little bit of a premium because you think you're going to move it and stuff like that. And
yes.
It sits for months, nobody buys it. You have to sell it wholesale less than what you paid for.
So I also, so like that's an example. Also, every year I'll hold 3 auctions that are themed around, so like July 4th, because you see a lot of things get minted. You have American flag bars, and there's like a lot of things that are America. So I buy that stuff all year round. Like if something, I see something like that's good for next year, I'll put this aside, and I'll accumulate all this stuff. So there are these 1 ounce American flags, waving American flag coins. So I bought 10 of them because I was like, everybody's going to want those. I want to have enough available for people. My cost on those was like $85 each. So I was like, all right, I'll sell them at $95 or something, right? Put one up there. It was crickets. I was like, all right, starting bid. And I started it at my cost, $85, go. Crickets. Nothing was happening. I'm like, fuck. So then finally, like, I'm like, all right, I'm pulling it. And then one person bid, sold it to them for $85. I'm like, all right, that established an $85 sale here. All right, guys, $85. Here's another one. Let's make this fun. Started at $1. Hardly anybody bidding. It gets to like $40, and that was it. And I'm like, oh Christ! So I lost money on that, and then I had to call the wholesaler and be like, look, can you buy my other 8 back? Like, what are you willing to give me for them? Because I know he's got to resell them and make money. He charged me. He bought them for me for $60. So I paid $85. So I lost. What's that come out to? 25 times. Like about $200 loss on that.
Mine are what's worse. You seen when you were here? I think.
Well, now I feel better.
Yeah. Well, you were here last time. I bought those 1,500 ounces of Republic Metals Corporation rounds. You remember seeing them here or no?
What were they? What were the rounds?
1 ounce rounds. Republic Metals.
What was the design?
They have their logo, the RMC, RCM, whatever it is.
Well, RCM is Royal Canadian. No, I don't remember.
And it's like they're like pouring molten gold into like a mold.
Vaguely.
Yeah.
So you bought how many?
1,500 ounces. I said, oh man, cheap 1 ounce. I paid 50 cents under. So I said, oh man, nice round. Put them at spot plus $1 on the website, you know. Not even the next day. That's the day it dropped $2.10 right, on 1,500 ounces. Down 3,000 already. You know? And then, like, I'm getting people come in. I'll take 300 ounces of those, and I'm only selling them at $1.50 over it. You know, $1 over it, and
but you still lost.
Still losing money. Everyone, people buying 200-300 at a time and losing, 60 cents.
At this point, you're trying to stop the bleeding, and then I bet the day after it probably went up.
Went right back up.
Oh my God!
Something similar happened with this stuff. It was a pretty big drop today, and you got to remember, I'm paying close. I'm making a quarter ounce on this stuff. Some stuff 15, 20 cents.
Right. Like, no, you work very...
It drops 50, 40. Like, not only do I not break even, I lose money on it.
You're working so close to margin. Like, your margins are so tight. So Andrew works very close to spot, guys. And he sells primarily business to business. But if you are interested, you can buy from Andrew through the website.
Yep. BayshoreBullionExchange.com.
But...
I try to keep it stacked, but... It's been tough to put up on there.
But so those types of things, and you and I have always gone back and forth about like what's better, to have collectibles or to have like the run of the mill, like just 100 ounce bars, 10 ounce bars and things like that. And it's, I think, important to have both because they both serve different purposes. Like same thing with like junk silver. Like you need to have a variety of stuff because...
Although what you were saying before, like a lot of the collectability stuff not moving like it was, I'm only seeing people buy low-end bullion.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Even secondary market. They'll take anything closest to
because spot's gone up.
Yeah.
And so now, like, because if you're thinking like silver at $22 an ounce, whenever the hell that was.
24, nothing. 25,
right. Right. And it's like, oh, $30 for a coin, I could do that. But now your spot's at 31. And I'm like, here's a panda for 37 and my cost is 36 and people aren't even buying it at 30. You know what I mean? It's very, very challenging. So I would say the worst money I've ever spent in this business would be on the items that I was going to move and aren't following the market. Like I'm pretty good about following the market and getting a sense of it based on people's buying habits, but it's hard because you also don't want to have a boring show. You want to put up cool things and people are like, oh, what is that? I've never seen that before, but you can't be selling it at a loss.
You know what? Every time I always, I'm in my head. Like, man, how stupid you to hold on to that. Now it's worth less than what you paid for it.
Yeah.
You didn't move it on the site.
Right.
And you hope you learn the next time and you just do it again and again.
But but you try because you never know. Sometimes the things and you've had people buy on the site and sometimes it's worked out, but And that's the other thing that's challenging is like, you can't be all things to all people.
No.
That's why I think when you and I work together, like seriously, like if you and I were to ever become partners in the future on something, I feel like it would be a good, like it complements each other because you primarily deal in that stuff and I'm primarily dealing in the collectible stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like you're able to then service both needs, but you know, it's getting challenging. So those of you that are thinking about getting into buying and selling precious metals, or you know, you're doing this as a hobby or a side hustle or whatever, you got to be very careful on the stuff that you're buying. You got to pay very close attention to the buying patterns in the market.
And the premiums.
And the premiums.
Too.
Yeah. And it's hard too when you have the online dealers continually lowering their prices. Because then for you, the people that are coming to you, it's like, I could buy it for a little bit less over here, so it just squeezes the margin.
Costco, every time somebody comes out.
Costco's another one. Costco, and you can't compete with Costco. The only way you can compete, a little bit
cheaper. I don't know if they'd start sales tax in New Jersey, but have you heard they're selling it? This local one here, or no?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what
they
told me. Yeah,
but they limit, I think, the amount. Like you could go buy one Royal Canadian Mint 10-ounce bar or one Gold Eagle or two only. They limit it.
You know what? I wonder if they charge tax here.
Wouldn't you think that they do?
They would have to.
Because that's the law in the state. There's no exemption for... Yeah. And if there was an exemption for businesses, then you and I would be set. Yeah. And all the other coin shops and jewelers and everything. So they're not going to get really that much of a deal. They must be doing that as like a just like a lost leader.
Or they charge tax. I really haven't looked at anybody's receipt. I don't know.
I guess anybody in the New Jersey area, let us know.
What precious metals at Costco?
Yeah,
if it was taxable or not.
But that's what we got. It has to be. They wouldn't be exempt. But that's what we got for you guys this week. Let us know in the comments below. What's the worst money that you've ever spent on precious metals? I mean, I guess if you want to talk about collectibles too, let us know in the comments. And we'll see you next weekend.
Yeah, have a good weekend.